Hi everyone, this is Roger Rosado. I'm on the spatial development team and I'm one of the spatial developers. Today we're going to talk about web mapping, how to configure it in Map Manager. This is a part 3 series of the Tech Go for Map Manager. The prerequisite for this, I believe, would be at least go through part 1 of Map Manager. And you should have a working knowledge on ArcGIS Online, Web Map, and Web Map applications specifically. There were additional ones in part 1, but this is for this series. These are the 2 that you should know. And of course, a basic knowledge of Maximo. I put 2 additional definitions besides the ones you've seen in part 1. This is ArcGIS Web Map, which is an interactive display of geographic information, which is kind of what we do when we configure map services. We give a base map and all the different layers. Well, this gives the option of people who are online to create their own web map. And web map application is a more powerful application which embeds web mapping in there, and you can do different things like different layouts and editing and tools and so forth. Kind of similar like what we do in ours. And then one of the most important things that you should know is that we're going to go over it a little bit more, but when the web map is not public, it's not shareable, then you must put it in a web map application in order for us to able to read it online. And I'll show you that in a little bit. These are other definitions that I hope you've gone through in part 1. Again, these are just helpful links. All right, this next step, everything's going to be live demo, so we're going to go directly to Maximo and start going over this web map configuration. Okay, let's sign in. Go to Map Manager. And right now we have map 1. We're going to create a new one. Let's create a new one called Web Map 1. Map 1. Okay. We are specifically going to talk about Maximo Spatial. And I'm going to give a site. I'm going to give McLean. And then now we're ready down here. Web map configurations. Now what happens here is that if a user does provide an online web map, in other words, they designed it online and want to use that storytelling map, then they would grab their ID and place it in here. And of course, you have to check it to tell us that we have a web map configuration to look at, a web map to look at. Now, the second part here is no more of the same thing, except for customers might not prefer to have it online. Maybe they want their own on ArcGIS Online and behind their firewall and their privacy. They can do that, but what we need to know is that portal URL, because otherwise we're going to assume everything is online. Online in respect to, you know, everyone can go to that site. Okay. And the next thing we'll talk about here is the O2 application login authentication. This comes into play when the web map is not shared by everyone. In other words, it's not public. I can't get to it. Anyone could go to it and get to it. But if for some reason you cannot because you deny access to public, then you must embed this web map into a web map application. Remember before in the definition, web map application embeds a web map. So what happens is when it's not shared by everybody, a web map, you must define a web map application. You must register it, and then you must publish it and then give a secure authentication. And what you'll return is a client ID and client secret. So let's go a little bit more detailed on that. We are on ArcGIS Online here, and we're in My Content. So this you have to go through and talk to ArcGIS and Esri and get permission to have your own organization and so forth, so you can do this. And a lot of customers may already have this, so that's why they design their own web map online. So one of the things I want to see is that this type, there can be many different types. As you can see, there's feature layer types, there's geodatabase type, map image layer type, service definition type. The only one we're only concerned about is web map at this time, only web maps. So right here, this is a web map application which would embed one of the web maps. So for example, we will be using one of these like this, and you see it's a map that has all the information on it, the map service layers and so forth. And then what we do is, if we go to, let me think, which one is it? Lost building location. Okay, let's go back to My Content and locate. Here it goes, this web map application here. It's in a group. And let me put this title in so we get a better look. So these are the two we're going to use when we're going to talk about secured web maps. Right now, as you can see, this web map is not shared by anybody. So since it's not shared by anybody, the only way we can access it if they embed it into the web map application here, which is shared by a certain group. And what do we mean by that? Let's go and click the web map. And there's a little share button. When you click on that, you get the option of how to share your web map to people. So right now we're only doing, we're not selecting any of it for now for this one. And then, I know this is beyond the scope, but I want to get you understanding a little bit about web map and web map applications. Okay, and this web map application will embed this web map. So if we click on this, you would see, if you go open, edit application. In here in the map, if I click this map here, you would see that I'm using this map. It's basically embedded into this web map application. So that's all I wanted to show you. Exit out of that. The next important thing is that one thing I don't want people to get confused is that this is a web map application. So since it's a web map application, this is the ID of the web map application. This is not the ID that you would enter into to the Web Map ID in Map Manager, because this ID belongs to the Web Map application. What you want to do is open up the web map itself, and then the ID is here. This is the ID that we would want, as you can see. So make sure there's a difference. So if it's secured web map, then when you embed it into the web map application has its own ID. This is not the ID I want. I want the actual web map ID. Now, once the web map application has the web map and it's secured, you must register it. And this is already a registered web map application. And what happens is that you get the app ID and the secret ID. Let's go back. How's that done? What happens is there's another application called ArcGIS Developers. In there, when you log in, if you have permission to, you log in, you'll see the web map applications listed here. So what happens is you see this one. This is our web map application here. What happens is since this is already registered, let me click one that's not been registered, this one. Just to show you. See, when this pen is here, when it says authenticate here, when you click it, it tells you, do you want to register the application? Once you register the application, then it'll give you a client secret ID, give you a client ID and a secret ID. Like for example, we go back down here, and boom, we got the client ID, we got a client secret, and then the token. They give you a temporary token so you can kind of link in through and see if you can access the web map application. Now one thing, okay, so that's cool. We got that. So let's go back to Map Manager. So we just get a refresher. This is the web map ID, not the web map application ID, the web map ID. This is, again, the portal URL in case we're not using the online, in case it's behind their company's firewall and they have their own simulated online, ArcGIS Online. And then this is the client ID, client secret I was telling you about, that if it is secured, you must enable this and put the client ID and client secret. This is actually, again, the web map application information. Now, let's go back and talk about, so there are, in my content, if for example there is a public web map, all you need is this ID. So this is another web map called Test POC. So since this web map is shared by everyone, when we click share, is shared by everyone, it is public. What that means is that now this web map is accessed by everyone, but you must make sure that all the other map services is also shared by everyone. Now, if you save it where one isn't if one is not shared, for example, if this GIS object feature server is not shared by everyone, then you still going to need to secure this in order for me to access that, because then I'll error, because I'm trying to load all the layers, but yet this layer is I'm not able to because I don't have permission to. So it's good to make sure that you understand that if you're gonna share this to everyone, then all the map contents be shareable by everyone also. So let's go through. Let's copy this web map ID. Copy. Go to Map Manager. Click here. Paste. Cool, right? So let's go back over here and let me see if I can open this. Hopefully don't error out. So I'm logged in as a different user at the moment. See, now this is what shows up on online if they're going to use their own. So this is what we want to see on our own in our own system Maximo. So let's go back to Maximo and see if that's a true case. So we saved it. I've gone in and I changed myself to McLean as my site already. And I don't have to do anything about map security. I don't have to do anything about portal. We're using it online directly. So that's good. So everything still applies. For example, if you came in here and you did map init, I'm sorry. You have to activate it, enable the map. That's one of the. I even mentioned that before that you guys be aware of. It happens to me. So okay. All right. So it did come up, as you see here. Cool. So we're reading the web map. So as you can see that we did not add any map services, no base map, no map server, nothing. We took all the information from the web map. So that means if we go to, we save it, and we go to locations, because that's what we're going to start doing anyways. Something different. We go to, guess that one. And there it is. It loaded up just fine. Great. Let's go back to the list here. I saw this one. Just let me delete this real quick. I used it before I came on just to make sure things kind of work. And delete. All right. Now let's go back to Map Manager. Web map. And let's go down to web map configuration. Now we're going to play with secure web map IDs. So again, I'm going to come in here and I am going to find the actual web map ID, which is this one. Paste. And then I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to save it. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. You see there's a new, when the web map is checked, there's an extra box here called Select Map Services. This is specifically only appears when this is checked, and when you when you click on this, we'll give you all the layers back from this web map. For example, let's go back and add this other ID, the one that's shared by everyone. Let's save that. Then when I click Map Services, it will bring me all the feature servers or map servers that belongs to the web map. So there's only one here, so that's cool. See, I was able to access it, no errors or anything. So now let's go back and get this one, the secured one, and place it in here. Save. Now, when we click on this, it errors out. It tells you that I need to have login authentication in order to access this. Okay. Same thing happens if you go to the actual map. Should also get an error, which you do. Creation of web map failed. So let's go back to Map Manager. Map by map one. Okay, configurations. We set that okay. Security. Now Now this is going to be tough. Now what happens there, the O2 authentication lets me get into the web map and get the information I need. But if anything in the web map contents, like a map server or a feature server, is secure, token secured, you must also enable token security. And I'll show you that here in a minute. Okay, I hope you understand that. So if a web map ID is secured, we're going to give them O2 authentication. But if any map service in there that we want to list here and use, we have to enable the token security. So let's do that now. So let's get the client ID, client secret. So I'm going to go and retrieve the web map application client ID, which we did. So I'm going to copy that, paste it here, and go back. Copy this. Go to Map Manager and paste it here. Cool. And I'll have to enable it. Let me save it. Now come down, map select. Now I can actually read the web map because I was able to log in through the client ID and secret ID and get a token back and then use that token to get onto the map service. So that's it. So, but what happens is what I was telling you about before is if I was to select one of my map services, that's great. But when I start saying, okay, I want to see what's in the map service, what we're doing is actually not going to the web map anymore. We're actually going to where that server is. And that server may be secured by a token or not. So you have to know whether it is. And if it isn't, and I want to manage it through Maximo, this layer in Maximo, and I want to give it a GIS object for it, and if I select a layer, oh, well, that one gave me the airport. I guess I tested just before, and if you recall before, is that I hold the token until the token expires. So since I just recently tested before I started recording, the token is probably still active. So let me. So that's the only bad part of it. But what would have happened is it would have failed, and then you would have to add the token back in here, enable token security. Actually, shouldn't. I guess for that one, that might. Let me select another layer here. Cancel. Select map services. Let's try that one. Yes, you select a layer. Ah, there it is. Okay, the airports don't have security on it, and this one, AISU location, has security enabled on it. So that's cool. So we have one that's token secured and one isn't. So that's just something to see. I can't do it, so I need the token for that. Let me just save this for now. And let me just show you also with what we have here is, let me do, I think that should be okay. I don't know if I need a token for that or not, but let's see if I load it on here. Go to locations. You know, I just want to do is display something. And it should come up. It might give me, I'm afraid they might give me an issue with that last map service because it's secured, but we'll see here in a minute. Oh, no, it didn't. Cool, cool. Because I guess I'm not using any GIS objects yet on it. So again, it loaded just fine. You can zoom in. Before I wasn't even able to get any of this. Cool. Okay, let's go back. Map Manager, Web Map. Again, if I want to security, again, the last one, this one, I could not create a layer error. So Again, I retrieved this from the web map in its contents, and the contents was one of this map service. So in order to use it, I would have to enable all right, and let's see if we can access it now. And we do. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So now everything works the same. Oh, and again, you can put your own here. Like each one can have its own in case inside the web map has one map server going to one place and another one going to a different server, and each one has their own token information. They're different, then each one can have its own. Again, I explained that before. I think it was in part 2. So let's go back like airports. So let's go into airports and let's create a GIS object, airport. Everything's the same, pretty much the same. I'm going to say locations. And I want ArcGIS system because I don't have anything I could really write up there. I'm not familiar with it. I'd rather have that be the system of record. That's okay. I'm going to execute the GIS. It's going to give me all this information. I can select or don't select, whatever. I'll take them all. Then I'm going to do the relationship, as you recall before. So if this is the MBO here, location MBO, and remember, since it is a system of record ArcGIS, ArcGIS is going to write his information on the MBO. Since the safest one, and realistically, I would have created a special attribute to hold that information. Once you know what it is, you're going to have to create your own attributes or use the one that's already there behind, especially if it's behind the scene or something. But just be consistent. Don't forget. Because I know some of them may include some spare attributes here. Well, not this one. Some of them do. Let's go back. What I'm going to do, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to put in the description. Cool. All right. I know that's not the right way of doing it, but just for this demonstration. Then I want the object ID. ID. Okay. From the airport. And I pressed OK. Cool. I got that all set up. I think I'm all set. Save. Now I'll go back to locations, create a new one, location test 1, location test. Oh, no, this description. I'm not going to put anything in this description because that's where we're going to store back the object ID. So I'll just put a type here, operating. So you see nothing in the description, save. As you can see, nothing. So now I'm going to go to the map. Comes up just fine. Let me find, ooh, that's a good one there. Let me zoom into that one. Boom, here. Use my identifier to link to it. Object ID is 38. I did it again. What happens is when you add a GIS object, I did this before in part 1, I believe. You have to, when you add a new GIS object, it does perform some basic security things, and the only way those securities can engage or actually execute, you must log out and log back in. So sorry about that. Or at least I did it, so then you guys are aware of it in case you don't see it. And the reason why I saw it because I didn't see a link, a little link message there that tells me, hey, you can link it. That's how I knew. So let's back again. Go to maps. Go to it here. Let's go to this little island here. Okay, Nantucket. Now we're back again to where we were. I'm going to click right here. The link didn't show up. What am I doing wrong? Let me see here. Airports is enabled. That's enabled. Yep, everything's good. I should be able to get it hooked up. All right, let me go back. Maybe I'm missing something. Save. Everything looks good here. Let's go back to Map Manager. To airports. That's right, that's correct. Sorry about this, guys. The description looks right. Looks right. Let me log out and then log back in. Okay. 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 There is the link. Not sure what happened there, but at least now we got it. I know you have to log out and log back in, and I don't know, maybe there was a hiccup there, but the link came back. So we're back to where we were. Sorry about that. And when we click on link, see, it already linked it to it. And this is object 51. So we are going to see that this 51 should be in the description and the location. So let's click out of that. Go to locations, back again. And boom, 51 is in the description. So now they know the link. So now that if I go out and say locations again and search for tests there, because that's the name of the location. And then now when I go over there, he's going to find where it's at because he knows he's going to search for that 51 there. Boom, there it is. He found it. Cool. So this demonstrates how the web map works and how it behaves exactly the same as if you configured it through the map services itself. Which you have to, if you want Maximal to manage these feature objects. So, but you can see the maps in the background, and then in the layers and stuff, you got the base map already because this is the base map that the web map application had. No, not the web map application. The web map had. See, I almost get confused there. All right, I believe. Let me go back and see if I didn't miss anything. Okay. See, we talked about web map configuration, right? And we talked about the portal in case they don't want to use the ArcGIS Online. They want to do their own simulated one behind their firewall. And then security, important again. You get the client ID, client secret from the web map application that embeds the web map if the web map is not shared by everyone publicly. And then if the web map has contents like a map server or feature server, and they're behind if they're secure by token, you must also enable token security here, and then add it appropriately to wherever you want. You could either have it here, and this is the one they needed it. You could put it there, here. And I believe I've gone through everything that deals with web maps. And I hope that helps. So let's go back to the PowerPoint, I guess. And that's it, guys. Guess we're all done for this part 3. And see you in part 4. Talk to you guys later. Bye.